Sorry, her encouraging him when her own team members are berating him is just so confusing and funny. Come on, Stein. Stein or Julie, you're my main people here. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are back to another episode of Infinite Ryvius. Couple of things. I guess the first thing to do would be the board. So here's the board, and of course, just like last time, I've got a change log of things that have changed on the board. And hopefully I'll remember to do this the same as I did last time, which is to put a link to an image of this that you can inspect in greater detail if you want to, under the Patreon and the YouTube videos for this. First off, I've connected Nyx to the purple girl with a white line, because I forgot to before, and I added a purple arrow pointing from Nyx to her. I have connected Stein to Koji with a green line. I have connected Raiden to Koji with a green line. I have connected Yuki and Cullen with a green line with a purple arrow pointing towards Yuki, because it seems like Cullen is interested again. I think there was an interest thing before. I think even Master Detective had pointed out that I thought that something before, even though I don't think that I did. But, yeah, no, now that correction is real and on the board. And I have connected Yuki and Cullen to Purple Girl with a white line, because more and more people are starting to see Purple Girl. Whatever the hell that means. And now, though, I have notes. Last episode, I responded to a comment from Master Detective about how reasonable Blue was as a leader in taking in outside advice and being able to work it out into their overall strategies. Well, as per my commentary at the end of the episode, when Blue shows himself to be a crazy person, I think it occurs to me who Blue reminds me of. If any of you have ever seen the movie The Abyss, then Lieutenant Coffee is my go-to. He's an outside authority that makes himself in charge and has the weaponry and skills to enforce his position. Unfortunately, due to the remoteness of his position as well as other factors, he goes off the deep end. That is the arc I see being played out in Blue. He took authority from people with the best intentions in mind, enforced their control at the end of a gun, and now, after having contemplated suicide, he's gone off the deep end and chose to make the solar system his enemy. Blue just, had a slow rise, in my opinion, where I was trying to understand him. And then, even with the rationality that Master Detective has given him, he's right back down with the whole Julie thing and everything else. On rewatch, I completely got Blue crying wrong. For some reason, I saw his face scar as his eye being closed, so that was the source of me thinking he was sweating it out. Clear to me now that he was crying. Still fits into my guy pushed too far off the deep end theory, though. So yeah, just for those of you who might have been yelling at me through the screen that wasn't a sweat drop, that was a tear, I noticed. Koji, when suggesting the party, says that they are waiting around for Mars to respond to their distress signal. I'm still wondering why they didn't just land on the planet next to a settlement and disembarked. Stop being reactive and start being proactive. Regardless of everything, it's hard for propaganda to beat in-your-face evidence of, hey, those are the missing kids, from that one news report that was made about the Liba Delta. In my view, these kids could have gotten rescued already. Raiden standing outside the ship in a cape and towel implies that there is an atmosphere outside of the ship, meaning that one of two things is true. The gravity system is pulling the atmosphere into a bubble around the ship, but also that it's pumping atmosphere outside the ship or is leaking it to such a degree that Raiden is fine to stand outside and breathe. Either way, seems like an unnecessary strain on the ship's environmental systems. Or 2, the Gadult has an atmosphere of some kind, like I previously theorized when talking about the idea that the ship that sped past them before was actually an animal, meaning that the Ryvius' shielding would be protecting Raiden from the radiation and the heat and etc., but otherwise exposing him to whatever atmosphere the Gadult has. So Stein almost regarded Luxon with a hateful tone last time he trash-talked him, but while Luxon was mumbling to himself, he indicated that his dad is the one that gave Stein his chance in the first place. We covered early on how expensive it was to take these tests via the convo with Akumi about the expectations on having money if having to take the tests multiple times. So there might be some background between Stein and Luxon about false friendship or maybe indentured status, that the freedom of this new situation has given Stein a chance to rethink everything, in spite of the serious attitude that he seems to always have. Okay, comedy moment played for laughs, but Raiden did jump off of the ship in fright. If not for his lackey, he would be dead. Regarding Son and Grand, though, I have to think that they might already be dead. I don't know exactly what they are going through, hanging off of the ship like that, but it seems to me that if they were fully all together, they might just pull themselves in, if not get back on board. Then at least sit outside on the ship rather than getting pulled along. Like, maybe they're outside the shielding effect of the Ryvius, in which case they might not have the strength to pull themselves in, or they might not have ever fully recovered from the beating that they got. But if they are just hanging along out there, then it seems like they could just pull themselves in and just sit on the ship, isolated from the inside, but not being dragged along in what must be like a 40k chaos nightmare out there. I don't know. Just a note from the scene that I saw. Charlie sucks his thumb in his sleep. It's just truth. It's not maybe it's less of an observation than just a thing that I saw. I legit have no idea what is up with Ran and Pat. She's reached out to touch him multiple times now, and was enticed to put on a dress and attend a party because he'd be there. Pat is super young. Like, I know they are all kids, but I mean, like, call the cops young compared to how old she seems to be. If the show is willing to go that way with two characters, then my fears for Julie, with the way that Blue acts towards her, are just kind of getting more and more heightened. And by which, of course, I mean the way that he tells her to, like, dress down and, like, slams his hand into the wall and, like, pins her into place, or grabs her hairpin to make, I don't know. There's shit going on there that I feel like the way that Blue is on a downward spiral, he's going to drag Julie down with him. And lastly, I have a note about Fiona. She has an ex-boyfriend named McBain. Also funny because that's the name of the character from the Arnold Schwarzenegger character from The Simpsons, who is apparently still on the ship. As Sandy says, he has something he wants to talk to her about, and we've not met anyone by that name yet. So, closest I saw was McDaniel, which is Grand's last name. So, not a lot of hope of talking to him if that's just a translation error and they're talking about Grand. Otherwise, those are all of my notes. So I guess all we have really left now is to get into the show proper and see what's going on.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, If you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
it's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
there's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Well, remember, that was said to have come from a member of the terrorist group itself. And Blue was on the bridge alone. Oh, don't you duck and dare. The Zwei are not the enemy. You can land and get off the ship. I feel like... Here's the thing. I do feel like I'm the genius here. And that I'm right. But at the same time, I could just be like egotistical megalomaniac thinking that I know when I don't. I think landing on the surface, getting out and showing that you're just a bunch of fucking kids would get you the freedom you need. At the same time, maybe it could get you all killed. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Also, by the same token, I'm just one guy on a ship filled with 400 people. Me getting my way is about as likely as anybody in the show getting their way. I feel like the biggest mystery right now is still who the hell that purple girl is. Because the other mysteries that are currently occurring are, how to say it, like a narrative sequence of events where one thing follows another. Her existence from the very beginning has been a mystery. And the fact that she seems to have insight into what people are thinking, doubly so. Yeah, but where to go now? We still need more information about the two different groups at play here. Obviously covered in blood.
Mission code Becca. 作戦立案は地球標準時間2223年10月
I'm gonna have to double check that to my timeline of events in my notes.
甲虫市養成所リーベデルタへ機動保安庁の特殊工作員2名が職員として潜入。目的はリーベデルタの軌道変更および隠蔽されているバイア艦の捕獲。
I mean, specifically the 6-month period that they mentioned.
リーベデルタはエネルギー補給とゲドルトの影響で老廃したセンターピアの排除を行うべく予定通りシアワンへ降下大部を観光するこの間職員学生のほとんどが休暇を取って
Yeah, they treated it like a holiday,
シャトル
so
の搭乗リストからリーベデルタに残っていたと推測される人数は職員68
we're
名
missing like 100
学生
students.
534名の計602名600人以上を作戦のためだけに見捨てたのかベルコビッチ名
Oh, is that the other guy?
同日15時48分
Barkovich.
第二次行動開始ダイブ中の悪海事故と見せかけるため潜入工作員がリーベデルタの降下進路を変更同時にバイア艦捕獲のために 機動保安庁の河川艇タンデルが作戦行動を
Yeah, our Conrad
タンデ
ship.
ルは2週間前から単独行動をとっており、表向きの行動目的は演習とされている。艇長はコンラッド・ビスケス中佐。
Okay, now we got a last name.
翌29日5時21分、悪海の危機に瀕したリーベデルタのクルーは落下スピードを軽減させるために自らパージを敢行。同28分、リーベデルタはセンターピラーの一部を残し、シアー2-367のポイントから 0.001 ハーシェルの速度で落下を続ける。4月30日3時23分、河川艇タンデルがシアー3に突入しかけたリーベデルタへの接触に成功。バイア艦を隠していたセンターピアの悪海行動に
Right. Because that's where the other ship,
接触解除。原因はセンターピラの中に隠されていたバイア艦の早期起動によるもの。
Oh, okay, so these are the people who refer to everything with a different name. That's very confusing.
同日9時44分、ゲドルトから通常空間へ
Because, I mean, because they're on Earth. That's why I find it confusing. Because that implies the people that are trying to destroy the Ryvius are the people who call it by its actual
ミッ
name.
ションプラン YS45 開始。先行した2隻の航中巡視艇がバイア艦とのランデブーを果たし、電磁キャプチャーによる捕獲に成功。同日13時56分、バイア艦は半径7.40で四方に重力フィールドを展開。
Also, you know what? Actually, slightly confusing about all this. This is episode 12 of a 26 episode run. So you would think next episode would be like the end of the first core. So it's very odd to have a recap episode on your penultimate core episode.
そのためにはスフィクスが必要なはず。システムは
スフィクス。
誰が動かしている。
So is Purple Girl the Sphinx?
今まで敵の戦績が不明だったり、外装データが変えられていたのは我々を欺くためだったんですね。救難信号をいくら出し続けても反応がない理由がこれで納得できました。おそらく太陽系中にある通信中継用イリジウムシステムの全てに介入し、我々からの通信だけを遮断したのでしょう。そう考えると、敵は機動保安
Yeah, I mean, when your enemy is strong enough to take over all the communications in the solar system, what are you gonna do?
今の俺たちの状況が変わるのか？バカ！
避難民からテロリストへ早変わりか。
ま、それらしいことはしまったしな。なんだよ、俺らのせいだったか？無理やりバイタルガーダーに乗せたくせに。話を蒸し返すなって。
お願い、考えるのはこれからのことだけにして。
そうだよ、結論を先延ばしにしてたら艦内で暴動が起きても不思議じゃないんだから。
偉そうに言うな。あの時てめえが司法を開くからこんなことになったんだ。
だって
勇敢だったわ、チャーリー。バカ女。
Oh, sorry, her encouraging him when her own team members are berating him is just so confusing and funny. Come on, Stein. Stein or Julie, you were my main people here.
ともかく、私たちがテロリストとして報道されたのは事実だわ。今の私たちに残された選択肢は3つしかない。一つは無理やりにでも火星に降りて事情を説明すること。
What I said from the start.
火星から離れて私たちを受け入れてくれる惑星圏を探すこと。3つ目はこの船を放棄して投降すること。
火星に降りるとしてもリバイアスは大きすぎるんじゃ。
バカ！この船は重力制御ができるんだぞ。火星クラスの大気層なら突入できる。
航中法に基づいてリバイアスの航中日誌も提出すればいいんじゃないかしら。航中裁判に持ち込むつもり？
通信すら受け付けてくれないのに話し合いができるなんてとても思えないよ。
You know, like, send a physical message, like a buoy.
じゃあここから離れてどこか行くのか。
火星生まれの人が納得するかな。
Or what about all those little flying ships that we've seen that the Ryvius has?
残るは投降か。冗談。それこそ犯罪者ですって言ってるようなものだ。
ああ、どんな扱いを受けるか。
何もできずに死ぬなんて怖いだ。
Like, land on Mars and then take one of those other small flying ships.
237人しか返事は来てないけど、
8割が火星や軌道保安庁による保護を求めてる。
保護じゃねえ。あいつだテロリスト扱いされてんのが分かってねえのかよ。
実感がないのよ。
実際に戦ったわけでもないしな。
エアーズブルー、あなたの意見はどうなの？
意見はない。お前らで決めろ。
Yeah, why is Blue Girl getting all heightened by
さっ
this?
きから黙ってるが、お前意見ないのか。
別に命に関わる問題なんだぞ、ユキ。
知るかよ。今さら何言ったって全部こいつの思惑通りなんだろ。
You Blue, you son of a bitch.
なんとか言えってんだよ。
Now, this is the other
見
place
事な演説でした。
where they actually call it the Ryvius.
水面下で交渉を続けておりますので、数日後には公式発表が行える予定になっております。
ラボはどうなっている？
作戦におけるすべての
Go back to my notes. I forgot what they called this guy.
明後日には詳しいデータをご覧いただけるかと。
ブラティカからの更新資料は削除してあるな。
予定通りです。
Wait, no, they're the ones that call it the Bratica. Why the other guys call it a Via then? Fuck. Is it 3 factions?
理解しているつもりです。
Yeah, she has not recovered any of her outfit.
私がブリッジにいないからこんなことになったんだ。
どういうこと？
君は知らなくていい。知らなくていいんだ。父上、母上。
Wait, is that the guy? Mid left?
Ryvius.
Is Luxon actually related to the guy who calls the thing the Bratica? That looks like a new bruise.
ユキのやつ、ブルーには勝てないっていい加減に気づけよ。
火星へ降りることはできない。投降も嫌だと言うなら道は一つしかないでしょう。ここから逃げるべきだ。
逃げるってどこへ？
どこへでもいい。大事なことは全員の安全を守ること
Yo,
なんだから。
Jupiter, you're from Jupiter. Do you not know anybody?
納得させればいい。火星甲虫軍が攻めてきたことにするとか。
嘘をつくの？
しかし有効な手段です。この船の情報は私たちが全て握っているんですから、どうにでもなります。逃げた後に受け入れ先を探すのがベターでしょ
いいんじゃない？いざとなりゃこんな船乗り捨てりゃいいんだし。
そうだよな。それがいいか。
助かる確率は高いわよね。
I know I'd certainly want to be closer to Earth if I was going to abandon the ship.
じゃあ艦内放送。
ちょっと待ってくれよ。そんな嘘ついていいのか？火星に帰りたい人の気持ちはどうなんだよ。
黙れコージ。
でも
否定する以上他の解決策があるんでしょうね。
それは
お前の言うことは正論だし、
Your eyes,
気持ち
that
としてはわか
panel.
る。でもそれで全員を救えるわけではないだろう。こんな時に甘いこと言うなよ。
しかし嘘はいつかバレるし、そうなったら
時間がないんだよ。今はいい人ぶってる場合じゃない。
Oh, Kumi. You're changing sides.
みんな知るんだ。みんな。
情報操作は大衆を混乱なく導くために作られた手段です。今は最善の手を取るべきでしょう。
現実的な答えね。
低次元な議論を続けるつもりですか？
いいえ。
よし、決まりだ。
俺は艦内を回ってみんなを説得してくる。スパイや監視役より俺たちの方がいい。ラリー、マルコ。
分かったよ。はい。
Yeah, the problem is the supervisors of the SY are basically doing the same thing now.
工事の放送だと嘘がバレるだろ。
分かったわ。
この後だな。ミッションプラン YS45 でブラティカは重力フィールドを展開している。
So they're watching like a really high def simulation.
半径は7コンマ4ゼラーで、重力フィールドの空間湾曲率は6コンマ1。
バイアガンとしては物足りない数字だが、
Well, that's confusing, because they said a Via ship, implying that there's more than one.
河川艇タンデルから打ち出されたボスコン級魚雷をフィールドを展開させて完全に防御している。乗組員はそれなりの訓練を受けているようだな。
しかし河川艇を攻撃しなかったのはなぜだ。専守防衛を気取っているのかもしれん。
人民の敵ナンバーワンが専守防衛ね。だが火星中域においてブラティカは反撃に転ずる。
I kind of feel like this is just early world building. Like the idea that maybe there's some sort of extra solar system threat or something, and we're using these ships to fight. And that's why they're barely seen in the solar system, because they're needed elsewhere. Because otherwise, we are so overpowering everything else. It's hard to tell what it's for.
バイタルガーダーはブースターでもある運搬用リフト管からの遠隔操作で動くタイプだ。操作用パペットワイヤーは TN 製のタイプ2を使用している。重力制御と併用すればシアー1以降の使用も可能だ。
火星甲虫群との戦闘でバイタルガーダーが発生させた重力フィールドは空間湾曲率の最大値が36を示したそうだ。
36だと。
現存兵器での物理的攻撃が理論上無効化する数値じゃないか。
システムは完全に
I mean, I guess thank God we'll use slug weapons, I guess. No beam weaponry.
こちら側の波状攻撃を受けていたとはいえ、その行動に目的が感じられない。君たちの仕事は今までの動きからブラティカの動向を推察することだ。ベルコビッチ次官も期待しておられる。しっかりと自覚してほしい。何者がいかなる目的でこの船に乗っている。
I suspect that these are going to be the guys that figure out the ship is full of kids or something, and then they're going to get silenced.
未来のありかのために。
Because ultimately nobody cares that this ship is full of kids. They either want to destroy it or capture it. Alright, now we're stealing from one another. We've used this shop before. Gotta hope something bad happens to that guy before he does something bad.
そうだけど、ね、どうしようニックス。うるせえな。どうすることもできねえって。
ヤッホー。会議どうなった？
放送を聞けよ。
やっぱ火星を離れるんだ。ということは、バイタル
I mean, granted, she's already hacked into the radar before, so.
手伝ってあげようか。
できんのかよ。
人は見かけによらないのよ。
自分で言うか普通。
結果で判断してよ。見事に裏切ってあげるから。
勝手にしろ。
レイコ、泣いたらダメだって。私たちが何かやった？悪いことなんて何もしてない。
Oh, she's from Mars? I don't remember.
なんとかする。小勢も何か言ってやってよ。
Oh, the slower version of the theme song, too.
安心しろ。俺が守ってやるから。どんなことがあっても守ってやるから。
この状況でそんなこと言う。本当。
ブリッジからお伝えします。緊急事態が発生しました。今までとは比べ物にならないほどの火星軍の艦隊がリバイアスに向かってきます。
That's the lie they're gonna go with?
攻撃の意思を表明しており、戦いを開始することはできません。私たちは皆さんの安全を守るため、一時的に火星圏から離脱することを決定しました。事態が一刻を争います。どうかご了承ください。そんな。繰り返します。火星から離れる。緊急事態が発生しました。今までとは比べ物にならないほど。
ひくみ。本当にこれが正しいのか。
I'm having my doubts about Akumi now, I'll be honest.
絶対に来るのに。
バイアスという甲虫艦の中に487人が避難しています。救助お願いします。
アーベント2から回収したブラックボックスの通信記録だ。直接ブラティカと交戦した
it's fucking
君の
Conrad, isn't it?
意見でありますか。
艇長、ブラティカの中にいるのは全員。
私の推測ではこの通信がブラフ。
You know better. Oh fuck, man, Conrad's a bad guy. I know it's obvious, but
すべてバイヤの知識を得たものでなければ実現不可能なことです。この通信も我々を油断させるためにブラティカのテロリストが人質の学生を使ったのでしょう。
shouldn't that stop you from attacking it, thinking that they got children hostages?
恐縮です。
先ほどマーレー提督から入電があった。インプルス・ディカスティアに引き続きゲシュペンストを呼び戻すそうだが。
ゲシュペンスト？あれを太陽系に。
お偉いさんは現状を知らん。
Back to the solar system. Maybe I was right about the extrasolar threat.
リバイアスはスイングバイルートへの軌道変更に成功しました。火星から離脱するため38
So they're going to be sending 3 different Via ships, it feels like.
かもしれませんのでご注意ください。
どうして
コージ。コージ。
変だよ。なんでそんなに穏やかでいられるんだ。
Why are you scared? You're just going somewhere.
地面がなくなってこの地を漂ってるような。
You traveled to Mars for like 3 weeks. You weren't scared then.
コージ。よかったわね。これは聖母アルネの慈悲よ。あなたは自分が望んだ通り一つ自由になれた。
Oh, was Fana like messing with him?
あなたが嫌がっていた社会との接点を断ち切ることができたんですもの。それはとても素敵なことだと思うの。
Oh man, I think I get what's going on. I think the setup of the show.
それから1ヶ月の時が流れた。
So, next episode's going to be a month later. I think the setup of the show has been to make us feel like certain characters were bad that are going to turn out to be good, and that certain characters who are good are going to turn out to be bad. Like, Fana was like a middle ground character that felt like they were being jilted or something. And then the whole Yuki, you're not trying to get with my brother, are you? Thing. Or that she's weird for being in a religion from a different, from a weird planet thing. And it turns out she's going to be some sort of like weird manipulator cult person. I feel like is where they're going with that. I don't know. Blue started bad, and I feel like he's still bad. Akumi is now going some sort of weird heel turn. I feel like I'm not sure. I don't know.
閉ざされた未来の中、俺たちの生活は生き抜くことを最優先にされた。重くのしかかる不安。逃げたい。逃げ出したい。
There you go, Charlie.
その思いが人と人を強く結
Who
び
was
つける。
that? Oh, sister.
俺たちは触れ合うことしか、今を忘れることしか。
I do not like that very last scene. I have stated many times now that my concern for Julie is Blue. And now she's dressed up back in her SWI uniform, which Blue didn't like. And it feels like that's an encounter. And I fear for her. And my problem is that I don't fear for her physically, I fear for her mentally. The same thing that I'm indicating between Fina and Koji. I feel like Blue is fucking with her mentally. Like she was a good person, and she wants the best, and I feel like by the end of this, she's gonna end up like one of the Blue Gang girls. Like, whatever the fuck is going on with them, Julie is gonna be susceptible to it. I don't know. The fact that this is sold, or was sold to me, as like, Lord of the Flies, but in space, doesn't matter what they started out as, everybody in that becomes something else by the end. And I don't know. I'm not like super attached to a lot of these characters, but I still do not wish upon them that sort of internal drama, debate, strife, etc. that will befall upon them, because a number of them have been cool characters so far. And I really appreciate the intermingling and different effects that bringing a character that's like this with a character that's like that together has caused, especially in this like closed-in environment. But I don't want them to turn into what Lord of the Flies turns into, which is, by the way, not a real... There's a real story of Lord of the Flies, and then there's the fake story of Lord of the Flies. The real kids that had the Lord of the Flies situation came together and got themselves saved, and they didn't like fight and kill one another. So this is clearly going the fake Lord of the Flies route, and I don't want that for these people. Especially not Pat. Like, I like Julie as a character, I like Stein as a character. Pat is an innocent young boy. I'm glad that the idiot is taking care of him, because the idiot can't do very much to, like, ruin Pat as a character. The idiot can barely take care of himself. I don't know. I guess I'm going to leave the rest of this for my thoughts on the next episode, or at the beginning of next episode, because there's a lot of stuff in here that I need to dissect. Like, the two different organizations, how they view everything and how they're trying to handle everything. Especially the one that has a group that's trying to figure out what the plans are of the Ryvius, yet also not knowing that it's being manned by a bunch of kids. Also, the fact that I got thrown by the element of which group calls it by which name. Again, I thought one group actually did call it the Ryvius. Now it's the Via and the Bratica, so I don't know there. And then my theories about the extrasolar activities and the fact that they're bringing things back to the solar system. So yeah, I'll have more in-depth notes about that as I figure it out, or hopefully figure it out for next episode. So until then, I have been Theta, this has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?